My name is Shinay Stephen. I'm currently an English teacher attached to the St. Ignatius Secondary School in Region 9, and I'm also a young influencer of the 2024 to 2025 cohort. To be honest, I think I have struggled with mental health for most of my life because growing up I didn't have an easy life. I grew up in an abusive home, so it's something that I've always struggled with. Whenever I felt like I was at my lowest, I would often have thoughts of running away, existing where someone or where no one knew me, where no one knew I existed. I just wanted to be isolated, alone from the world. So I felt most isolated or misunderstood whenever I tried to voice the issue to either a friend or a family member, whether it be my mom or my siblings, whoever it was, they just used to brush it off. Like they never took me seriously, and that used to hurt a lot because it was a very serious issue, and there were so many times that I was at the edge that I wanted to do the unthinkable, and I don't know, something just made me not do it. But yes, each time I tried to voice it, I tried to tell them how I was feeling, what were contributing to these thoughts and so forth. No one took me seriously. So I was at the peak of my depression in 2021 when my father sadly unfortunately passed away. And that was actually the year that I had just started working as a teacher. During that period, I had another unfortunate heartbreak. I won't reveal much about it, but yes, it was two heartbreaks at once during one period, and so experiencing that it had a lot of negative effect on my mental health, and balancing the responsibilities of a teacher and fighting the battles of my mind wasn't an easy task, I could say, because it's something that I had to deal with every single day, and there were moments where I actually used to intentionally be absent from work just because I wanted to be alone and try to deal with those emotions. So, during my 2 years of teachers college, someone who I'm still unaware of to this day reported me to the admin because they noticed I was self harming, and the admin got me into counseling. Well, that experience was quite positive. I got some very positive advice and so forth, but the advice that I took at that during that period, it only lasted for a while until the enemy, I would like to call it the enemy, started attacking my mind again, and well, I kept allowing the enemy to win yet again. So, during my college years, I'd like to say that I'm very grateful for the two females who I've met during that time that encouraged me to walk with God. They encouraged me to be involved in a lot of church activities and so forth. And that used to help with my mental health a lot. And I would just like to mention those females. So the first would be Malaro Ralph Roach, and the second would be my dear friend Vadaitu Hali. So yes, big shout out to them. Also, there was a period in time where my mother, she would have us be involved in these meetings where we could share our thoughts and we would be able to forgive each other for stuff that we may have said out of anger or frustration or so forth. So, yes, although there was a point in time where they made me feel isolated and like I didn't matter and they didn't care about the issue that I tried to voice to them, there was also a turning point where they eventually began to care and, you know, introduce initiatives in our household that each person within the household could voice their issues, voice any concerns, and it would be taken into consideration. So, actually, my turning point, if I can remember clearly, was when I was at my lowest of lows and I was alone in my apartment and was about to do the unthinkable when suddenly my phone rang and it was my mother on the other end. And at that moment, I just started crying out my feelings to her. And as she does all the time, ever since I've known her, she prayed for me. So she prayed for me, and the way she began to speak life into me afterwards, it was as though God Himself was speaking to me through her. And that was such an unforgettable experience. Like it's something that I never experienced before. I mean, I've had conversations with my mom before, but nothing like that. So, yes, I guess that was the turning point for me, and that is when I started to get serious about my mental health and stop allowing the enemy to get the best of me. So, when I got serious about my mental health, the first thing I did as I started my healing journey was I blocked people. I blocked anyone out of my life who wasn't contributing positively to my mental health. So anyone who would easily trigger me or trigger my emotions to make me act out negatively in any way, I resorted to blocking them. Then there was a period of time that I fasted and prayed. Then I started journaling, which I still do to this day. I write journals to God. So yes, that is what I do on my healing journey.